And hello everybody, my name is NikoTheLegend, also known as the well-mannered teenager, the snowflake, and the rambling idiot, along with many other titles. We're here to talk about the next big patch for Cyberpunk 2077. Yes, I don't do Cyberpunk videos often, but this time it's time for a change. How about that? Hey, before we get started, let's subscribe to NikoTheLegend. I'm here all day, folks. I got plenty of content to offer, and I hope to see you guys again soon because we're really close to that 800 subscriber mark. So let's reach that milestone together. Appreciate that. So, with that said, shameless plugs aside, let's talk about this new Cyberpunk 2077 patch. This is the 1.2 patch. You see on the screen there. Aha! Now, this is a big one. This is one of the major updates that's coming out for this game. And you know, Cyberpunk 2077, when it came out in December, it was not the game that a lot of people were expecting. That hype train masked the actuality of the game's current condition. But it's gotten better over time. We've reached quite a bit of updates up until now, and it's just getting to be a better experience each time. Although there are patches that require patches, which is pretty ridiculous. But we're not here to talk about that. We're talking about the 1.2 patch. It will be making fixes to police response, driving, and more. So what Nico is going to do, I'm going to read this article to you guys, and we can kind of discuss it along the way. There's quite a bit of information here, so I thought it would be, deemed necessary to let you know the minute exact details here. And this is from Polygon, so bear with me here. Developer CD Projekt Red announced new details on the second major update to Cyberpunk 2077 on Friday, couched as an in-fiction news broadcast. According to the developer, the 1.2 update for Cyberpunk 2077 will address issues related to police response to player actions and add more nuance and control to driving and moving on foot. The patch doesn't have a release date. That's okay. Players who commit crimes in Night City, either purposely or not, may have noticed the unnerving speed with which the Night City Police Department responds. CD Projekt Red says it's aware of the situation and is making some adjustments to where and when the cops show up with guns blazing. Law enforcement should no longer appear directly behind the player and will take more time to respond in general. Beat cops will also be preceded by a flying drone, a new addition to the game. They are always watching you. They are always watching you. Developers admit that driving has been a little twitchy since launch, especially on PC. Turns out that the issue was complicated by the game's frame rate. When experiencing lower frame rates, our cars were harder to control, CDPR said. We traced this to some code that wasn't handling extreme changes in frame rate properly. The steering speed is now very consistent from 20 to 60 plus FPS. Car steering FPS, you gotta love it. Individual cars were also tweaked in detail, including the player's starting vehicle. CD Projekt Red also noted that cars would sometimes get hung up on environmental details, including curves and bollards, whatever the word is. The 1.2 update will add an unstuck feature. I repeat, unstuck feature, which will allow players to rock vehicles back and forth while holding down the accelerator. So you know how you can't pick up hookers like in GTA in your car, and you can't rock back and forth? Well, now you can as a feature without hookers in your car. That's me personally saying. Who would love to do that, right? Any takers? Finally, players will now have more fine control over keyboard bindings related to simple movement. That includes a rework of the game's dodge action. You can find more details on the official blog post. And then here it just talks about how Cyberpunk was just, a super hyped up game. And then it turned out to not be as great as it should have been, because it was still rushed. Should have came out a year later, pretty much. Should have pulled like a Halo Infinite. We got to see what that looked like, right? And hopefully that game turns out to be well. So there you have it, folks. We got some big updates. We got some AI tweaking and some police response stuff, which is great because when you do commit a crime in Cyberpunk, they are there right around the corner. They are there in your bathroom while you're showering. If you got stars on you, you got police, you got a bounty on your head, the police will be there no matter what you're doing. You're just out driving with your babe, boom, they're just right there in the car with you, or behind you, or in front of you, or beneath you, or above you. So that'll be nice to have some good old AI tweaking. It's always, it's always pleasant to have more realistic type of approach to this type of game, especially because it's open world. And then, tweaking the driving and stuff, driving on the keyboard, mouse and keyboards is what I do. I don't use controller when I play this on PC. When I beat the game twice, I was just using mouse and keyboard to steer. It wasn't terrible, but I could see where they're coming from with the car frames per second. And then, you know, the whole key bindings being fixed and stuff for PC users, that's also a great thing. You would think this would have been issued from the get-go, but we all know why it wasn't. There's many, many reasons. CD Projekt Red has gone through hell and back, and they're really trying to patch themselves up, especially with that latest cyber security freaking thing that they went through recently, where their source code was sold to the highest bidder, and that's always a darn shame. But did they have it coming? Yes. Did they deserve that type of punishment? No, they did not. But that's a topic for a different time. I don't want to stir the pot any more than I already have. I have been your host, NikoTheLegend, also known as the Rambling Idiot, Well-Mannered Teacher, and the Snowflake. I've never done it in that order of nicknames before. That sounded really weird. I was very hesitant to go on. So if you like what you saw today, feel free to leave some comments below on what you think about this new patch coming out, and what are some future patches that you would like to see that address the fixes in Cyberpunk itself. Because it's going to keep going and going and going, and as the anniversary comes, when it's a year back, when it's December 2021, man, this game is going to be completely different. Just kidding. It'll be but it won't be completely different. And then the online comes out, and oh my goodness, we can only imagine the vicious cycle will probably continue once again. So let me know what you guys think down below. Comment. We're so close to the 800 subscribers. We had it yesterday, and then it was gone. Very sad. Very sad. I don't have that security blanket. Anyway, folks, Pathfinders, have a great day. And you know what? Don't be looking at that Keanu Reeves, nudity, all right? Don't be doing those mods.